go straight to our topics this afternoon. Well, like I said, the CBN governor is trending seriously, and that's because of a video of an interview he granted recently with Bloomberg discussing financial matters. And in this particular video, Yemi Cardoso was talking about, efforts made by him and his team so far to stabilize the Nigerian economy. Like I mentioned in the intro, a lot of Nigerians have commented on this video. But before we get into that, let's go see the video first, quickly. We'll be right back.
That a number of things have happened, okay. One of which is the fact that more confidence has come back into the market. A lot of inflows have come back because there was very little liquidity at the time. And potential players within the market, both on the buy and the sell side, are more confident in the future. And when I talk about even the buy side, bear in mind the fact that in the past, what used to happen was people were panicking and front-loading their requests. Right. Now, a lot of that has also calmed down, and there's no inclination to do that because liquidity has come back into the market. So, to answer your question, we're relatively pleased with how far we've gotten up to now. In the past 2-3 weeks, after a period of volatility, we've seen a lot of stability within the market. There's hardly been any movement in the currency. Right. The rates have been merged. In the past, you had 2 different rates. Right now, more or less have 1 rate. Okay. And we believe that this is good. It allows companies to plan. And again, it gives an idea of where the potential road of travel is for people who are investing in our economy. So I'm relatively pleased with where we are. We don't believe that we've got into the position we want to stay at. It's continuous work in progress, and we will do everything possible to ensure that we continue to manage the macroeconomic fundamentals that affect that market in such a way that it will continue to improve. I do believe that we have more or less seen the worst in terms of volatility. I believe we've seen the worst in volatility. We are happy that the market is now such that willing buyer and willing seller operate within the market. We are also very alive to observing the way and manner in which that market operates, and ensuring that it gives the best value that can be accomplished using certain tools. It's also important to mention, though, that the monetary and fiscal work closely together. Right. So I would only be giving you one picture if I said, the monetary does that, the monetary does something else, but they work very closely together.
That's the CBN governor, Yemi Cardoso, there talking about after a long period of volatility, the Nigerian economy is now beginning to stabilize. Like I mentioned, the comments trailing this video are in disagreement with some of the statements made by the CBN governor. Plus, let me quickly mention that 2 days ago, the Nigerian currency, the Naira, was voted as perhaps the worst performing currency in the world. All right, so putting that into context and juxtaposing that with the comments from the CBN governor. Doctor, you are a stake player in the Nigerian economy, so to say, being a BDC yourself. So I don't want us to come from the place of a cup of rice is 5,000. I don't want, no, those are not the issues. It's a deeper thing. All right, let's talk about the economy, the efforts and reforms made so far by this administration, and also, laying on the table the comments of the statements made by the CBN governor. Let's look at all of that. Are we actually in a safe place now in terms of our economy?
Especially if there any word to use, I think we are in a cliffhanger. You know, there was no out of truth or what the man said. What determines an aggregate idea about the economy is the investment level. He didn't talk how many people have invested in the country. As of today, we're all borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. No much investment that could trigger whatever he said. If you remember that most companies are leaving this country, and it's all about bad economic policies. Look at it this way. You talked about somebody can plan. As of today, nobody plans. Even an individual, you cannot plan. Because you can wake up today and go to the market, which you say you should, but at least let's use this as an example, just an analogy. You wake up today, you bought a tuber of yam yesterday for 4,000 naira. You're not sure that that same tuber of yam you can get it. So that is taking it to macro level. You discover that micro level, you discover that the companies, they rely on predictability of the economy. When they cannot predict how much is a diesel today and how much is it tomorrow, how do you say the economy is okay? When you're talking about an inflationary rate that is already almost 31.7%, how do you say that the economy is bouncing back? When you talk about the interest rate, which is his monetary policy talked about, and that's what he said they are joining together. Then the interest rates are up almost 24%. How can a company borrow such amount? How do you cope? How do you recoup your money? Not to talk about paying the interest. As of today, what they are just doing is try and error. We've not had a clear-cut direction of where our economy is going. It's just you wake up tomorrow, you discover one thing is gone. You discover next tomorrow, you see another thing. Let me give you an example.
So more like a patch approach.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the man didn't talk about those who said the physical and monetary are together. How many people have lost their jobs within this particular regime? Many people have lost their jobs. Companies are folding. These are the indices that can give you an idea whether the economy is bouncing back. It's not just sitting on it.
But then what is different with this time? People have always been losing jobs.
No, this time is a race.
From time immemorial, okay. What is different about now?
As at today, the rate at which people are losing, according to the statistics I have, some almost 20% of Nigerian workers have lost their job within this 1 year. That is not a good idea about the economy bouncing back. So, economy aggregation is based on how much the people feel the impact of your economy. Are people hungry? Are people poverty level? Are they okay? Is even companies doing well? Every company is folding up because the cost of diesel is much higher than what they can recoup as expense. So when you look at it from that area, you discover that as of today, I think there's no yet an economic indice that will give you an idea that this is where we go. The World Bank has come up to tell us that look, with the way we are going, the economy is going to shrink by 2%. The projection for hope, the new hope agenda in a year was 6% improvement. But now World Bank is giving us negative 2%. So how do you just suppose what he said? Because we're not seeing it. It's like Mazi used to say, he said, talk is cheap. It's easy, but I would have loved a country where the leaders can come and tell us the truth. Tell us this is where we are heading to. It is not like though he mentioned it, but he mentioned it in the past that we have not gotten there. But tell Nigerians the truth. So that anyone can tighten his belt. We're talking about the economy. We spend $90 billion, almost $38 million just to take people to go and worship foreign God. That's what I call it. Because we have Amado and we have Sango, that they can go there and worship. What impact is that to economy? Priorities. Because it's only one person is alive that you can talk about even the economy you're talking about.
Okay.
Security is there. If you talk about insecurity, if you talk about the dual exchange rate you talked about, as of today, it's not single. It's not single. Because if you go to parallel market, it's a different thing, which is the same thing as before. So floating it and talking about digitalization of the currency is not true. Then the worst aspect of it, you talk about the liquidity. Liquidity where? People buy money with money. You must buy money from POS. Where on this country, where on earth do you see that you can use money to buy your currency? It's not done anywhere. If you go to bank, you will not get money. But just by the bank side, you see POS. The ATMs are not working. So what is liquidity? Even as of today, we're having a currency that's double. You have 502. You have 1002. You have 202. Where have you seen it in any society? What happened? Can they mop up the old one and bring the new one? So these are the indices you look at, and globally or globally you will see whether they are working or not. As far as I'm concerned, these guys are just doing trial and error. Let me just put it that way. There's no single economic plan strategically put in place in this way. Maybe they stumble into leadership. Because if you are planning to be a leader, it's a long-term planning program. You should be able to determine what we have. Because it is not that this is a new thing. It's not new. They are coming, they understand the economy has already gone down. So they should have planned how do we get out of this. As today is even worse than Buhari era.
Thank you, Dr. Maduka. All right, Mazi, let me bring you into the conversation. I'll ask you the same question. Should we be happy with the state of the economy at the moment? Taking it from the CBN governor.
Yeah, he has quoted me 1 or 2 times. One that one is cheap, and talk is cheap, and another one about, I was there some time ago. I also complained about not getting money from the ATM. On Thursday, I was coming back in one of the water parks. I wanted to withdraw 20,000 naira. I said I have to pay 4,000 naira.
400?
Yes.
400?
No, 4,000 naira.
4,000?
Yes. He said, I looked at her from head to toe. I said, it's like something is wrong. Having said that, madam, let me read this one. Economic crisis slumps into port operation, puts 40,000 jobs at risk. This was a discussion I had this morning, that importation now is dropping. And the shipload that used to carry 4,000, a vessel that used to carry 4,000 containers, now carrying 300. And the writer, the head operation was asking Nigerians to import more. And I begin to wonder, you are begging us to import more. You are not begging us to export. Is it not when you export, you're able to get something? Now, what do you expect him to say? He has said it so that his employers should be happy with him. You say we should not talk about the price of commodities, rice and whatever. If you don't talk about it, what will you talk about it? You see, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Like he said towards the end of his presentation, he said that he doesn't think that they planned. There was no planning, honestly. And you also rightly said that our currency is now described as the worst performing in the world. And these are facts. There are no contradictions about it. And the CBN governor, with due respect, I had expected him to react to report, I think Sarah, that said, go and investigate 100 billion naira dating money.
That is missing.
That is missing. So he has not talked about that. He's talking about, you said about the dual rate of exchange rate. What you get to how much is the current rate now? 1,400 something, 1,400. So it's for 2 weeks. So you say we have one. So it is important that our leaders should be able to tell us the true position of this country. This country is sick. And you're talking about what is, look at the electricity tariff that we cannot afford, right? I recharge my prepaid 1,000 naira, you get four units, as against 14 units. So, and it doesn't last me a day. So, which means I spend 2,000 naira a day. Then you say we should not talk about rice. How much is rice? It is now my situation has presented me.
Mazi, I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about the rising cost of living. I just don't want our attention to be
to know
too much on that.
Nigerians are crying. You go to the village, you weep. Somebody called me and said, Dede, please, I need 200 to buy drugs. Last week I was in the village. I had a show with one of the sister radio stations. I talked about rate people, I mean, multinationals are leaving the country, including this ShopRite in Abuja, leaving. Okay. And other multinationals. No
brand names, thank you, sir.
Other multinationals are leaving the country. So is the economy doing well and they are leaving? How much is the cost of diesel now? The kerosene that used to be the commonest thing is now higher than the fuel. It's more higher. So you talked about economy improving. From where? From where? So our leaders should be able to now. I think what they should have done is, so look, ladies and gentlemen, we met bad economy. We are trying to put it right, and this is the effort we are doing. Right? They are not talking about even the minimum wage. What are they saying about it now? That one has gone down. And I did say it here that the worst thing the Labour did was to play into their hands. And nothing is coming. So an average Nigeria is crying. How much are you being paid? How much do you pay from your house to here? So the economy is improving that 100,000 cannot be enough for your transport in a month. So it's unfortunate. So the CBN governor, I think you didn't get it right. So we disassociate ourselves from your statement, please, sir.
All right,
let me
quickly, 2 minutes, sir.
Okay, between 1999 and 1990 and up to 2014, I travel with my ATM card. I don't need to have cash to go to UK. And you get to UK, you go to any ATM machine, punch your card, and you may have a limit. I think as at that time it was £300 per day. You have a limit. Put and you take your money. No hassle. In fact, in one of those occasions, I lost my ATM inside the place. But the way they treated me, before I came back to Nigeria, my ATM is ready. Because I reported there, they sent all those things before I came back. So what am I saying? Because at that time, that's why you know your economy is moving. That's why you know your monetary policy is working. That your nationals can travel outside the country and buy things with their money through the system. Because when you talk about single system, the system, through the CBN system, now you can't. If you want to pay money to your child who is abroad, you don't get to the system. You won't get that until 6 months. Now, if you go to, like I was in Switzerland one time, I saw many African country currency listed. Nigerian currency is not listed. So how do you say that your country is getting better? Let me even shock you, which is the most we know, the Cotonou and CFAs. Before, if somebody is giving you money on CFAs, you say, what do I have to have back to carry CFAs? 20,000 or something. But today, CFA's currency is more valuable than us. Today, say that Cotonou and Benin, they are making gist about us. So what are you talking about? As at today, you can't buy anything with Naira. If you want to travel now to Cotonou and you went to any hotel, your 20,000 Naira is nothing. You won't use it. Because it's almost from 40,000 to 50,000 Naira. Before, with 1,000 Naira, 2,000 Naira, you can get the best of hotel in Cotonou. So how is he coming up with this appropriation to say that the economy is moving? When the economy moves, nobody tells you. It's a systematic thing. People will see it in the system and it will be globally noticed. But as of today, our economy, especially the monetary policy, is not working anything. We are just on a drum, planning. Just today, somebody wake up and say, well, let's do this one. The next day is okay, let's do it this one. As of today, I'm supposed to see, since this man came, to see a full-fledged plan on the economy for the next 10 years. It can start bad, like it started, but you can see the progression, how in the next 4 or 5 years, people can say, oh, okay. One thing they say, hope doesn't kill. Once a man has a hope, he will say, okay, let's keep on moving. But as I told you, there's no hope for the next 10. I'm saying the next 10 years. 1 year for Nigeria, the system
All right, thank you, Dr. Maduka. Thank you, Mazi. All right, so the sentiment expressed by my analyst at the table is not too far off from that expressed on social media. A lot of people are not happy with, well, the performance of the Naira, nor are they excited about the state of the economy at the moment. Let's not even go to the rising costs, the still rising costs of living in Nigeria. That's also in the picture. Meanwhile,